Hello, welcome back once again to Checkered Flags and Money Bags. As always, I am your host, Phil Craig. This week we are going to take you to Dover to preview the Monster Mile. Before we get to that, as always, we like to go back and take a look at our previous week and see how we did there. So last week we were at the Super Speedway of Talladega, and those types of races are very difficult to predict. You never know when that big crash that we saw at the very end of the race is going to happen. Usually it happens a little bit sooner and it takes out a lot of your favorite drivers, and it could be no mistake on their part and they can just be taken out. So let's see how we did. Did not have the winner of the race. I did have Brad Keselowski, who should have won the race. He was right there. He played it all perfectly, put on a master class of how to set up for the victory at the end of one of these types of races, and got taken out by a driver who doesn't know how to throw a proper block, or threw too many, so it was. So I had Keselowski, who thought was going to win, was going to be a great payoff for me that day. Didn't quite get it done. We did have Todd Gilliland for a top 10. Paid off at plus 300. We had under 2.5 Toyotas in the top 10. That one was looking scary there for a while when the Toyotas played their strategy there in the third and the last segment of the race. It looked like with that strategy, they were going to end up taking the top, 6-7 spots or whatever it is that they had, all those cars lined up together, until they decided to all wreck each other. And from that point, that was an easy one to cash there. And then we had Jesse Love, who won on Saturday, which paid off very nicely for me. So I only won 3 of my bets, but of course I didn't put in a whole lot because it was a pack racing style race. For the weekend, 47% profit over the total amount bet for the weekend, and bringing the season total to a 16% profit margin for the season. So not doing too bad, just picking a little bit here and there. Not really getting those big payouts. Was looking at a really nice payout. Had Keselowski won that race, I would have had the winner, Ford to win, and Briscoe was riding in the top 10. I was also going to cash that until he got taken out in that wreck. So one of these races, we're hopefully going to hit it and really take home that money bag. But just piecing along for right now. That is the 6th straight week that I've ended up on the positive side. So that is a good thing. We're on a good roll, looking to keep it going this week in Dover. So we're at what is known as the Monster Mile. It is a 1-mile concrete track, very similar to Bristol. The only big difference, obviously, the size of the track. Bristol being a half mile, Dover being a full mile. Great place to go to a race, by the way, if you ever get a chance. I've had the chance to go there one time with some friends several years ago, and great place to watch a race. You can really see the whole track, and they get up some good speeds. The interesting thing about this track, there's no other track like it on the circuit that they go to. So they're going down the straightaway, and when they go into the turn, they're actually dropping approximately 3 stories down into the turns. Come back up off the turn, another straightaway, same thing down at the other turn. It's approximately about a good 30-foot drop off down into the turn, so it's really cool to watch this race. So far this year, we've seen 2 teams for the most part who have just dominated this season. We've got Hendrick Motorsports, and then we've got Joe Gibbs. And this track this week is going to be no different. In fact, it is going to be even more of a domination by these 2 teams. So if we look back over the past 11 races, these 2 teams have won a total of 8 of those 11 races. Um, the only three that they did not win, one of them was won by Kyle Larson, who does now drive for HMS. He was with Ganassi at the time. The other two were won by the guy in the booth now, Kevin Harvick. Interesting thing about that, other than Kevin Harvick, no other Ford driver has won there since all the way back in 2011 with Matt Kenseth. So the Fords getting their first win this week of the season, not looking too good for those guys. This has been so much of a domination by these two teams. If you go back in the day and when I was really watching, watching a lot of this, that really got into NASCAR. Sorry, when I first really got into NASCAR, watching it a lot. A guy by the name of Jimmy Johnson was getting into the sport, and that guy won at this track 11 times. 11 times for just one driver. So he really knows how to get around this track. He actually is in the race this weekend. This is one of those races that he's going to pop into. Did not have a good qualifying effort. We'll see how he does once he gets into the race. He's really having a tough time with this new car, which no surprise, with this new car, not racing very often in it. We've seen some of the best guys out there. Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch really struggle with this track. With this car, with the changing over from the Gen 6 to the Gen 7 car. So no surprise that a part-time driver, even if he's one of the best of all time, is struggling with it. So let's see. Among our current drivers, we have Martin Truex Jr. leading with 4 wins at this track, and he did win at this track last year. With 3 wins, we have Kyle Busch, and I believe all 3 of those wins came when he was with JGR. And then our only other multi-time winner is Chase Elliott. So a lot of HMS and JGR names right there. The other ones we have among active drivers, Larson, Brad Keselowski, Denny Hamlin, and Alex Bowman. So you heard a lot of Hendrick and Gibbs names right there. One that you noticeably was, you might have noticed was not in there, was the current HMS driver who has got the most wins in the Gen 7 car, and that is William Byron. So his best finish at this track is a 4th place finish, which was last year when he led 193 of 400 laps. So he does get around this track pretty well. Just hasn't quite secured a victory here as of yet. A few other notables at this track. We have Christopher Bell, last 2 years in the Gen 7 cars, finished 6th and 4th. Ross Chastain, a 2nd and a 3rd. And then we've got Chris Buescher with a pair of 9th place finishes. So as far as getting into the top 10 consistently, those are our drivers. There's not a whole lot else to tell at this track. It's pretty much plain and simple. It's going to be a Hendrick and a Gibbs kind of weekend. So let's go ahead and jump right into what I like for this weekend. We have already seen, I'm recording this after qualifying has already taken place. So Kyle Busch is sitting on the pole. Very interesting thing happened if you watched qualifying today. Something they don't normally do is they went out and they blew off the track in between the 1st and 2nd rounds of qualifying. So it really gave Kyle Busch a green track, a real clear, clean track to go out and get on first. He was the first one to go out in the 2nd round. And so he was able to take advantage of that and lay down a lap that Blaney came somewhat close to, but nobody really even challenged him as far as getting the pole, which was quite interesting. I'm not sure why they did that, but I definitely think that helped him to, I think whoever went out first was going to get the pole because of that. When you're on concrete, a green track or a really clean track is going to benefit the first person that gets out there. Okay, so let's get into this. I have the whole slew, Larson, Byron, Elliott. Let's just get all three of those in there. I've got each one of those for the each way bets on Bet 365. Larson's at 450, Byron at 750, and Elliott at 1200. These were all pre-qualifying, obviously. I've got Truex as well with an each way bet at plus 600 there at 365. There's a few other drivers that I really like, Chastain, Bell, and Hamlin. I don't really like Hamlin or Bell for the win, or Chastain. And then their top 10 numbers are obviously just total garbage. The books are, they understand what this race is going to be, and it's really hard to find value this week. I really didn't like many of the top 5 bets as well. But I do have Chastain for a top 5 at plus 140. That's really not very good odds for a top 5 at all. But he's been up there, a second and a third the last 2 years. So hopefully he can get it up in there again. That was at plus 140. That was at Fanatics. So as of right now, I do not have any bets on Bell or Hamlin. I'm probably going to be looking at them for some head-to-heads and group bets tomorrow morning before the race, see if we can find any value there. Bell did not have a good qualifying effort whatsoever. He is way back there in 33rd. So you're probably going to be able to find some value in him. Not really for the win, but for some head-to-head bets. You might even have a decent top 10 value after tomorrow. Drivers tend to win this race from the top 10. Not quite so much recently. 3 of the last 4 years, the winner has come from either 16th or 17th position. But generally, this race is won by somebody who starts inside the top 10. So, like some of my bets, the Larson and the Elliott bets, both of those guys starting back in the 20s. Larson 21st, Elliott 29th. Those obviously not looking good for a win. Hopefully they can get up there and finish in the top 4 to get that each way cash for me, though. A few top 10s that I do like. Bowman. Gonna go with, I don't usually like to go into the minus money and give up the juice for a top 10 bet, but I just think that Bowman is very good at this track, and I'm going to take him for that minus 130 for a top 10 here. He is actually starting off 9th. These are all at Bet 365 as well. I got Busher for a top 10 at plus 110. He qualified. Where did he qualify? He did not. Well, where did he go? 18th he qualified. So not too bad. I think he can definitely drive that up there into the top 10. And then his teammate Brad Keselowski as well, top 10 at plus 162. He's coming from the 24th starting position. And then a driver who I have not mentioned just yet, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I like him for a top 10 possibly this week. He had some really great odds at the beginning of the week, and I should have jumped on him then when he was at plus 600. But I was still able to find him at FanDuel at plus 470 earlier this morning before qualifying. He is going to be starting off in the 17th position. He has had a 15th place finish last year, and then the first year of the next gen car, he actually took home a 2nd place finish. So he gets around this track pretty decent. So we'll see if he can get up there and score us a top 10 this week. Some other fun bets that I saw that I liked. A couple of the finishing position bets were back. So this was a new thing starting this year that a couple of the books had. And at first they had it for just about every driver. I think they did have it for every driver in the field. That disappeared after a couple weeks. Surprisingly, I don't know if they were losing too much money in the books off of that, or what their excuse was, but that went away. But this week, I like Byron at under 6.5 finishing position. That is at minus 125 at Caesars. And then Truex, the under 7.5 finishing position at minus 140, also at Caesars. The odds not the greatest, but I really think those guys are just basically shoe-ins, unless obviously anybody can have a mistake on pit road or get caught up in someone's accident, as both of my Xfinity Series drivers did today. Got wrecked by other guys while they were just minding their own business. But yeah, as long as those guys stay out of trouble, and they're definitely going to be up there inside the top 5-6 positions. Fords, I do not look forward to them having a good run here. I've got under 2.5 Fords in the top 10 at minus 120. That's also at Caesars. And then a few fun bets that I threw in there just to see if we can get those to cash. Stage 1 and the win at plus 200, and Stage 2 and the win at plus 130. I heard on a podcast earlier this week that both of those have cashed quite a bit recently, so we'll just have some fun and throw it in there. And then my last one that I have as of right now, I've got Hendricks and Gibbs, both at plus 170 for the win. I'm pretty sure the winner's coming out of one of those two camps. So either way, at plus 170, still going to cash pretty well there. I was looking at the Chevy or Toyota to win. The odds really weren't very good, just barely over into the plus money. So I figured the winner's going to come from one of those two teams, so I just took those two. I think that tomorrow morning, once the odds come out, yeah, we see you back there, buddy. We'll get you in here in just a minute, kids. But tomorrow morning, once the rest of the odds come out, I think I'll look at some head-to-head bets, especially there with Bell and Hamlin, and I think be able to find a few more as well. I looked at the head-to-head bets already, and then didn't really see too many of them that I liked thus far. Hopefully, we'll get to some of them that we like tomorrow morning. Okay, so of those that I have bets on for the win, I do have one in particular that I think is going to take home the checkered flag this week, and it is the one who that little munchkin back there tends to pick every single week. Yes, that's right. I'm picking William Byron to take home the checkered flag this week. If he doesn't take it, I believe it might be Alex Bowman. I really think he is going to take home a good finish here this year. There was a few years back that Hendrick actually took home the top 4 positions, a complete sweep. Olivia, you want to jump up in here? Yeah. All right, come on up. So you heard that, didn't you?
Yeah, you picked William Byron.
I did pick William Byron. He has never won here at this track.
I'm Pip, and I pick William Byron.
So, all of his teammates have wins at this track except for him. Can you believe that? Yeah. So, William Byron, is that who Pip is picking this week?
Yeah.
Pip's making the picks now, is he?
Yeah, he did it for me.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I'm right there with you this week. I believe it's going to be William Byron. He led almost half of this race last year, and I think he will get it done this week.
Bye.
So yeah, good luck this week. Hopefully you guys can get some good bets in there.
And check out my YouTube channel.
Oh, you want to throw a plug in there? What's your YouTube channel you want to
Gaming with Pip.
Gaming with Pip. Okay.
You can go over there and like and subscribe. Bye.
All right. Good luck this week, and go get that bag.
And like and subscribe to this channel too.
All right. We'll see ya.